Even as a child, I noticed the way thoughts would rise and pass, like snowflakes melting on a window pane. There was always a part of me always watching. Somewhere in childhood, the inner voice of the witness, the quiet observer within, began to cast its die as moments of awareness. I was around 10 years old when I first encountered what I would later understand as a Buddhist teaching on suffering. At the time, it arrived not as philosophy, but as lived experience, simple, direct, and unexpectedly formative. It happened during a Christmas season, and its ripple extended far beyond the holiday itself. Christmas morning arrived as it always did, a mixture of sleepiness and anticipation, stirred awake by weeks of mounting excitement. There were toys, games, and gifts, a generous bounty by any measure, and yet I did not receive exactly what I had imagined or hoped for. In the moments that followed, I became acutely aware of something, and though I had experienced disappointment many times before, this sting was sharp, and I saw how quickly it could tint the morning. My lack of gratitude and its unsettling gave me cause and pause to question my integrity. At the same time, I was conscious of another impulse, the desire not to sadden my parents by appearing ungrateful. So I adapted, I adjusted, I entered into the business of enjoying what was, in truth, a generous offering. Before then, I lacked the awareness to consciously name what I was sensing. The insight arrived suddenly. It wasn't that the objects of play were empty, but that the emptiness I had attributed to them had been wrongly placed. In that moment, I understood it was an interior emptiness, and that alongside it came a familiar impulse, the quiet need to compensate for what feels like loss. There continued an odd lingering thereafter. You could feel the holidays continuing in a slow deflation, like a helium balloon slowly losing its loft. Months later, I glanced at the neglected pile of toys, noting them as the conditions I had some time ago unknowingly placed upon my happiness, and how they had lost all appeal. And doesn't that which begins as a private disquiet so often become a collective choreography? The collective season, why the world gets loud. Outside, the lights come on earlier. Decorations appear overnight. Holiday music spills from shop doors and crowded speakers. As the inner fire begins its quiet return, the outer world answers loudly. The louder the world becomes, the more we reveal what we fear, the hollow that follows celebration. The moment when the glitter settles and something unnamed feels missing. Perhaps this is the part we rarely speak of, the shadow that follows the spark. Not because the joy was false, but because even fulfillment reveals its edge. This is Chiron's terrain, the wound that remains even after the wish has been granted, the subtle sore that no gift can soothe. Not a flaw in the season, but a mirror of something older within us. Chiron's shadow, a wound that won't heal. Even in this season of fire, of gatherings, light, and uplift, something else lingers at the edge. This is Chiron's shadow, a wound that does not resolve through effort or excess. Not a failure of celebration, but the quiet recognition that desire itself carries a double edge, that even joy carries its shadow, that the wound we carry isn't a flaw, it's a doorway. Chiron is not here to spoil the celebration. He reminds us that every desire that fuels the flame casts a shadow of longing on the other side. Longing not for more, but for freedom. He offers no fix, only awareness. The deeper fire and the yogic heart say, presence becomes presence. Stillness becomes the heart of the hearth. And so, just before the great silence, the human spirit lifts, it celebrates, it stretches outward. Then the solstice will ask us to be still again, to listen, to go quiet and brave. Perhaps because on some deep and ancient level, it knows what comes next. It has been listening to a hush beneath the celebration, feeling a gravity just out of view. It has been watching the dark grow. As the solstice nears with quiet, with endings, Capricorn waits, not with fire, but with stone. The longest night can be heavy. Maybe that's why we created New Year's, to push the light a little farther, a ritual to outrun the quiet for one more night. Fireworks, countdowns, champagne, flashes of celebration offered up like torches at the threshold of the unknown. Many will ask, what happened? Where'd the party go? It isn't meant to last, you see. It's an invitation to turn toward the dormant seeds of those dreams by the fire, by the hearth, and give them foundation. Align with the deep turning inward as the world tilts toward sleep, toward stillness, toward the long interior. The psyche sensing the nearness of death, not literal, but symbolic, seasonal, cellular, knows to rally its warmth. In the dark, seeds rest, not in failure, but in quiet preparation. And, after all, we gathered not to escape the night, but to plant something in it, together.